Ah, c'est à moi? Hello tout le monde, mon nom c'est Daniel Parisien. I'm actually going to do my presentation in English. So I'm one of the co-founders of Broadsign International. I don't know if you guys have heard of that company. It's the de facto standard in digital out-of-home. Runs about 350 million ads every single day, or actually it was when I left there in May. It's probably more by now. We're in countries in international business, and in January I decided to leave that company to pursue my freedom and to try a whole bunch of different projects. One of them actually was last summer. My brothers and I got together and we bought the family business that my father founded 40 years ago. Is this loud enough? I think it's the same as if I talk. No? Okay. Okay. That's my dad right there. What's that mean? What's wrong with the lapel mic? I don't know, does it? It does, eh? Well, yeah, unplug it and we'll just record off the top. And it's about how they included all these other people. So that's idea number one. Entrepreneurship is about self-expression. Idea number two. Entrepreneurship is about the love of others. So creating a business is about doing something that you love and giving what you love to other people. It's about being of service. It's about deep service to the world. It's not just to your neighbors. It's now you have an international reach and you could do that. So what is that way that you love others? And how could you transform that into a business to deliver that value to other people? This is a different way to look at entrepreneurship. It's not about money. Money is a tool. We're going to talk about money later. Idea number three. Entrepreneurship is the new university. In this day and age, university is having a really hard time adapting to the job market. A couple of years ago, I went to a presentation and the chief futurist at Ford was talking about the fact that simultaneously the US had the highest level of unemployment it's ever had and the highest level of job openings it's ever had. How does that make sense? How could you have so many job openings and so many people looking for jobs? It's because a lot of those job openings were jobs that were created in the last year, 2 years, 3 years. The only way for you to catch up and to get access to those jobs is to surf the front of the wave of change and to be in the entrepreneurship world. I remember at Broadsign we were looking for a programmatic buying specialist. I don't know if you guys know what programmatic buying is. I'll summarize it really quickly. It's a way for you to buy advertising and pinpoint target exactly who you want to reach and do it in a way that's very easy for the advertiser, for the brand to get there. Well, it's such a new world that nobody existed that could actually be good at that. We were the experts at being able to do that. So that's why entrepreneurship is the new university. I didn't actually go to university. I jumped right into entrepreneurship, and I learned so much. And I invite all of you guys to dedicate your life to lifelong learning as well. Idea number 4. Entrepreneurship is the new church. So brands today, people think that brands are about having a nice designed logo, cool fonts, nice looking products. No, it's about actually creating a movement that stands for something, a movement that people could belong to, a movement that could actually make a change to this world. And that's where you find the talent that burns the midnight oil, burns the candle at both ends out of passion. They stay the night. I met some guys last night. They're actually in the building upstairs. Those guys worked until 1 p.m. We were with them. What time were we with them, Ricky? We were there like 10 p.m. Yeah, we started at 8 p.m. and they did a full all-nighter because they're so passionate about what they're doing. And it's because they believe in a better future. And they transmitted that to us. And we were like, yeah, we're in. We want in on that. And that's why entrepreneurship is the new church. That's the new type of branding. And that's what we're doing actually with MA Sword, is we're creating a movement. You know, it's a family business. We're about family. We want to gather people. We want to work with people that are about the family business and local as well. So those are the ideas on entrepreneurship. We're going to change gears a little bit. We're going to talk about ideas on work. Okay? Work is a fun game in disguise. You know, I saw somebody with a shirt that says, you don't hate Mondays, you hate your job, right? How many people work and they hate their job? Well, did you know that it's pretty easy to transform your job into a fun time just by turning it into a game? And usually that's about mastery. It's about honing your craft. It's about turning into a game where each time you do the job, it can be better and better every single time. And when you have fun competition built into it, it makes it that much more exciting. And instead of going to work, 9 to 5, you're going to play 9 to 5. You're going to play with your friends. It's my father who's been telling me that since I'm 5 years old. He said, Dan, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day again your whole life. And I don't think I really have ever worked in my whole life. And I invite you guys to look at it that way as well. Idea number 6. Work is about doing something worthwhile with your friends. Get your friends together and change the world, right? That's awesome. I think I don't know how many times people have told me, Dan, I don't want to work with my friends because it could go bad. What if, there's always issues working with your friends, hiring your friends. Man, I've only hired my friends. I've only worked with my friends. It's friggin' awesome. It just so happens that my friends are people that work hard, who are super intelligent, and who are awesome. So I invite you guys to look at it that way as well. Hey, people who work hard, and when you guys do something together and you achieve something together, it's really exciting. And you come out of it with bonds that are deeper than any other type of bond that you could create. Idea number 7. Work is about mastering your vocation. Do you know what your vocation is? That's one of the hardest questions to answer. Why are you on this planet? What are you here to do? I love this picture of this girl doing the sewing right there, because she is mastering her vocation. She's doing, the same thing. You do it over and over again. And the first time, you have beginner's luck. You do it right the first time, and then you do it a few more times, and it's, maybe you have more or less success. But the more you do it, the better you get at it, and eventually you're one of the best in the world. I think the common knowledge is it takes about 10 years to get to mastery at a particular craft. There's something about that ritual, if you will, that long ritual that you leave just, you have such a deeper sense of fulfillment. People think that the search in life is for happiness. You want happiness, you want money, you want things, you want to have experiences. For me, the most satisfying feeling is fulfillment. And fulfillment only comes from setting an objective and reaching that objective over and over and over again, and stretching yourself over and over again. So that's why work is about mastering your vocation. Idea number 8, work is as necessary as air, food, and water. I'm a huge fan of Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Work Week. Actually, I met him in South by Southwest on my last week at Broadside, and I was like, this is so amazing. I left my company because of you. I read your book. It changed my entire outlook on life. The 4-Hour Work Week, the concept where you could build passive revenue and only work 4 hours a week to maintain that passive revenue, and then the rest of your time is yours. Well, I think it's a fallacy, a little bit. He actually doesn't really live that. That's kind of a caricature of what he's proposing. What he's actually proposing is freedom. It's about buying yourself some freedom. And if you think about work, you know, the reason I left Broadside, okay, I went to Brazil. And I met this man, and it's actually my friend's father. And my friend's father was telling me how, you know, he was sick, but he was at the top of his game. He's one of the most powerful people in Brazil, at the head of the largest telecom. And at one point he just said, screw all this, I'm sick, I'm gonna go live my life, you know? And I realized, okay, well, I want that too. But what if I had $10 million in the bank right now? What if I was super rich? What would I do? I would be doing exactly what I'm doing now. And I work my butt off. I work a lot. And because when you have freedom, you work on what you want to work on. You do the things that you want to see change in the world. So that's why work is necessary. I don't think the 4-hour work week is what everybody wants. I think what everybody wants is, when I work on what I want to work on. So I invite you to try and figure out what that is. Now we're going to change gears a little bit and talk about leadership. So idea number 9, leadership is servitude. I often see leadership presented a whole bunch of different ways, and you know, the one that I think is kind of villainized a little bit is the boss that barks orders and tells you exactly what to do, and the manager style. I think leadership is about hiring a team of the smartest, most awesome people and making sure that any garbage that gets in their way, you take it out of their way. You focus every single day on being of service to your people. If they're trying to do something and they're trying to change the world and XYZ's in the way, internal politics, customers not answering, whatever, you get in the way and you fix that for them. That's your job as the leader. Leadership is servitude. It's actually from the Bible. It said, and the greatest among you shall be your servant. It's the best is always at the service of everybody. To me, the ultimate example of that is probably Richard Branson. Okay, Richard Branson, at the top of his game, he's one of the people who he changed the world. But you look, and what does he do all the time? It's all about his people. He's always trying to help his people go to the next level, get all that, you know, shit out of their way. Let's talk about idea number 10. Leadership is about storytelling and painting a vision. What that means is all your people are there to work. Now, they know what they're supposed to do, but for them all to know how they work together and how they all connect and what they're driving towards, you have to tell them the story. And it has to be really entertaining, because people work based on emotions. Why do they do what they do? Why do they work the hours? Why did those guys work overnight till the next day? Why? Because they believed in something. There's a story behind it. They have a narrative in their head of what they're delivering to the world. And painting a vision, I always say painting a vision, I do this motion, it's about really, you draw it from all the perspectives. And the most valuable skill is to have vision. And it is a skill, and everybody could learn it, and it's something you can hone. And most of it is about eliminating the negative beliefs that are in your head. I'm not good at math, I'm not good at this, I can't do this. It's all fake. We can all do everything. We're all built exactly the same way. We have the same hardware, with some exceptions, you know, unless there are some physical maladies. But everything, we've built our own limiting beliefs in our head over time. Maybe in 3rd grade, your teacher said, nah, you know, I don't think you're really good with language. And you believed them. And then you live the rest of your life with that thought process in your head. And it's not true. We could all learn everything. And part of that is learning vision. And then once you see it all in your head, it's how do you communicate that to people in a way that's a story, that they are involved in it, that they belong. Idea number 11. Leadership is paradoxically about listening and following. How could you lead if you're all alone as a lone wolf in the front? You have to listen all the time. You listen to your customers, you listen to your team, and you follow. Sometimes, I mean, I've been guilty of this many times at Broadside, and we're filming this for YouTube, so some people are going to be like, yeah, Dan, I've been the lone wolf. And it's always been the bad thing. When you have in your team, there's always some amazing person that says, this is where we have to go, and you follow them, and you back them up. And then after a certain point, they'll pass the baton to the next person. And then sometimes it'll be your baton, usually when it's time to go, okay, so we've solved what we've done, what's the next thing? And then the leader jumps in and says, all right, you're painting the vision of what the next thing is. You know, and if you listen properly, you synthesize all these different ideas, and you could actually paint this vision of what the next thing is. You know it because you're at the front. You're surfing the front of the wave. Idea number 12. Leadership is about quiet stillness. Leadership isn't always about being boisterous and about talking and doing storytelling. Sometimes it's about being the calmest person in the room. Sometimes it's about actually the leader sets the lowest level of calmness in the team. You have to be the most chill person. And then everybody else could be stressed about their stuff, but they're not stressed because you're setting a higher stress level around you. When something goes wrong, like there's the famously, what's the name of the mayor of New York when September 11th happened?
Giuliani.
Yeah, Mayor Giuliani. So Mayor Giuliani, when all that stuff was going crazy, he became super centered and still, and everybody looked to him. And then he was able to lead. And that's how you're supposed to run a team. It's about being the quietest and stillest person, the most chill. Now we're going to change gears, talk about money a little bit. Money is a hot topic. Idea number 13, money is actually love from fans. It's not about selling products. It's not about marketing, channel, distribution strategies, those type of things. Money is about finding your fans, talking to your fans, making them fall in love with you. All the rest of the stuff will figure itself out. The channel strategies will automatically come out of that. People are going to give you money. Look at Kickstarter. Kickstarter is the perfect example of this. Kickstarter allows you to simultaneously test the market to see if there's actually a market out there for your product, and at the same time create, like, how do all Kickstarters work? They make these videos, they're emotionalized, they're super cool, you fall in love with these people, you give them money. What was the most successful Kickstarter? It's the cat game there by, does anybody know I'm talking about? Exploding Kittens, I think it's called. This guy, he's, I forget his name, I'm ruining this, but he does an online comic, and he came up with this card game. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a card game, but the guy raised so much money because everybody loves him. It doesn't matter what he did. He could have done any old thing as long as it was, aligned with his style of humor. People gave him so much money. So that's why I want you to invite you to think about money is about that. Idea number 14, money is points in a game. See it, when you see it as a game, it unemotionalizes it. My personal experience is my older brother Andre. So my older brother Andre took over the family business a while ago. He's been running it. And he keeps telling me, oh, he's not good with, finances and things like that. But you know what he does in his spare time? He plays this game called Transport Tycoon. He actually plays a game where he runs a delivery business on his computer at night. And every time I check it out, he has like $14 billion in the bank. Like, he loves that game. It's a really fun game. And now he's looking at the family business that way, and it's changed everything because it makes it a fun game, and it also makes it competitive. Your competitors are actually more your friends than your enemies. But when there is that competitive drive behind it to like try and beat your competitors, it sure is fun. It makes it lots of fun. So I invite you to think about money as points in a game, and it's about having more points coming in than going out. On this note too, something I find so fascinating about a capitalistic transaction of like buying something from somebody, because when you give somebody money, not only, if you look at it in points in a game, not only is that other person getting more points, but you're getting less points, exactly the same amount at the same time in the same transaction. So it's a big deal to give somebody money, right? We don't think about it. We buy a bunch of stuff. But if that's how you look at it, suddenly buying decisions are much more calculated, and receiving money is much more appreciated as well. So that's just a thought to put on to wear as a hat, if you wish. Idea number 15, this is probably my favorite idea of all the ones we're going to talk about. Money is actually fuel for change. So the goal isn't about making money and becoming super rich. The goal is about creating additional cash flows, so then you can take those cash flows, reinvest them in ways to give your deepest gift at a higher and higher level. Who was I talking with? Somebody, one of the tenants here, He's a graphics designer. And we were trying to figure out what his vocation was. We were having this conversation. And we were talking about this particular type of idea. So right now, he's the best I've ever seen at graphics design. He pumps out so much great stuff. He's really, really efficient and fast. And I said, well, you know, for you to contribute at that next level, what you need to do is arrange a team around you and then give the team your values, your way of doing things so they could start contributing, and you multiply your efforts. You could always do more with more people than you can alone. Even the best person that does 10 times the work of somebody else, a 10xer, you could build a team much more easily that does 10 times more work than you. So, but then what's the next thing after that? It's to create content, put it on YouTube, and create people you don't even manage, people you inspired that deliver the same type of quality around the world. So what's this person doing? Is he doing graphics design, or is he delivering more and more beauty to the world? How can he bring more and more beauty to the world? Well, it's exactly that. Inspiring others, it's writing, it's speaking, it's etc. It's inspiring. So money is about actually fuel for change. Once you make that money, you reinvest it in your people and you figure out how to change at a higher and higher level. Idea 16. Money is not real. Influence is real. You can have all the money in the world. People can say, I don't want your money. But when you have influence, people can't resist influence. Influence is when you actually make a difference in somebody's life, when you give them something of value. Money is transactional. It's important, of course. It's necessary. It's vital. But it's not real. If you create influence, you could throw all your money away tomorrow, recreate that fortune in no time flat. So think about influence. What is influence? Influence is a complicated concept, right? It's about having people that respect you. It's about building trust over time. It's about, you know, saying something that's different. It's about dancing to your own tune and having other people that want to dance with you. So I invite you to think about that. Influence is real. Money is not. Now we're going to change gears. We're going to talk about product. The last 4 ideas are about products. Product design is the new art. I remember when I got my iPhone 4S, I looked at that and I was like, this belongs in the Museum of Modern Art. I'm pretty sure it actually is in the Museum of Modern Art. It's gorgeous. I kept it naked all the time. Never had a cover on it or anything just because I loved looking at it. And Apple has been delivering truly beautiful products for years now. It is the new art. And you look at all these new products coming out, all these boutiques, the maker movement, all that stuff, they're making really beautiful things. It's not about painting anymore. It's not about graphics design anymore. It's about how are you going to transform something that's going to be useful to somebody into something truly beautiful and inspiring. It's about bringing more beauty onto this world. And that's why I invite you to think about product design as the new art. Idea 18. I love this picture. Products are the physical manifestation of delight. Delight is the emotion you want to evoke from your customers. It is the hardest emotion to evoke. And we were just talking about Apple. Apple's pretty darn good at that. Do you guys ever do the unboxing experience where you open up the box and it's kind of vacuum sealed and you pull it out and you see the product, it's all wrapped in plastic. It's this whole ritual. It's so amazing. And that's kind of what I look like when I got my iPhone 4S that I was talking about earlier. So think about delight. How do you create delight? It is not easy. It takes probably 10, 100 times more thought process to figure out how to create delight in somebody than it does to actually make the product itself. I find lots of people get addicted to that kind of, that hit of, I'm so smart, I'm such a genius in figuring out my idea, I'm going to deliver this product to the world, and they forget that it's about actually the emotion of the customer. And it's not about how smart they are. Nobody cares about how smart you are. That's the truth. What people care about is how you make them feel. Idea 19, we're almost at the end. Product design is a brand statement. When you make your product, and you put your stamp on it, you're saying what you're all about. The look, the feel, how it interacts, how people interact together on your platform, how people message it. It's all about who you're about. And I think Airbnb is one of the best examples of that. I've had so many great experiences with Airbnb. I've also had terrible experiences with Airbnb, but they've always made good on it. And their product, you just look at it and you feel that's what they're all about. So product design is a brand statement. Think about your design in that way. What are you saying? You know, what are you saying about yourself? What are you trying to transmit? Is it about making people's lives easier? Is it about making people's lives Make them do things that are, impossible before? Is it about connecting them with people that they could never have connected with before? Think about that. What are you trying to say about your brand? And build that into the design. The last idea, products can be miraculous. There's so many amazing, beautiful things that are happening today. The same presentation I was talking about with the futurist, chief futurist from Ford, there was another man, I forget his name. It's if you Google "not impossible," okay, he did this project. It's called Project Daniel. It was this kid in Africa whose hand was blown off by the war, and he just decided to bring a crew, fly in with a 3D printer, and they figured out how to build an artificial hand for that kid. I think it cost them like $50 in the end. And this kid had it's a miracle. The kid had a hand, and it started this whole movement of artificial hands in 3D printing. Products and product design can actually bring miracles to this planet. We don't realize what's going on around it. We take it for granted, but like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, these things are crazy. Like artificial hand, a prosthetic limb, was so expensive, so complicated, very limited. Now people have like full, opposable thumbs, grip control, and everything. So products can be miraculous. They could also be disastrous, though. It's very, once you get a certain level of success, smartphones is a perfect example of this. Smartphones are incredible. Do you guys realize telekinesis? Do you realize we could communicate to people on the other side of the planet instantaneously? That was written as fiction in novels before. It wasn't even people didn't even think it would be possible other than in fiction. Now it happens all the time. We take it for granted. But there's a downside and there's a danger to that, right? They become tools of control. They become tools of manipulation. They become tools that can be used against you. So I think, about the power today of the reach of products and how miraculous or dangerous they can be. So those are 20 ideas that I presented. I'm sure you guys could probably come up with many more. I invite you to go onto Twitter and to tweet different ideas of the hashtag change the world. You could @ me, I'm @ Daniel Parisien, all one word is my name. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you very much.
We're going to sit down.